So Jimmy's listening out because I've got the window open, and whenever I've got the window open, ajar, you know, it's when is a door not a door? When it's ajar. But God, the jokes just get better, don't they? But bless old Jimmy, he's keeping an ear out. Anyway, hello. So today I'd like to take a look at this, which is awesome, absolutely awesome. This is a mail call from a dear friend of mine called Steel Helmet Stan. I'll leave a link to his channel below for sure. I can highly recommend his channel. He does a whole range of things, very humorous. Looks at his Militaria collection, as well as very humorous send-ups of his own experiences, which are vast and wonderful. Chap's been all over the world, really, like me, you know. We shared, not at the same well, probably at the same time, but we were both in Australia at one point, although I think I was probably there a tad before you, Stan, mate, wasn't I? I don't remember, but if we did sort of cross over, then we were in different sides of the continent, weren't we? Which is a shame, because it's a darn shame we didn't meet up for a blow the froth off a few, mate. But anyway, cut to the chase, man. So this letter, very kind letter, says, "Hello, Andy. How are you? Well, I'm all right, mate. I was thinking that you are a fan of the old car, which I am, and some of your videos reflect that. They do. So here is a book on the MG range of sports cars, plus a die-cast model of a Mini. There's the book. I used to have a very large collection of die-cast cars, but for now I can only have 25 or so. I know the feeling, mate. I've got my attic's collapsing with all the stuff I've got up there. I've got to scale down. Anyhow, hope you can find some place to put it. Absolutely, mate. It's going on display in the lounge. That's a fact. It's lovely. I love it. Thank you so much. That's the little Mini, and I actually had one. I had one exactly the same, except mine was white. Mine was an 850 Mini 850, and I loved it. I can remember it vividly. I had it in London when I was living in a place called Wandsworth Common, and it was very rusty. I kept having to get it welded. Luckily, a local chap that I knew could do that job, and he put a virtual new floor pan into it. But what got it was when it was when they have Minis of strange little cars, because they have a dual subframe, I think I'm right in saying, and the rear subframe was so rotted out, it was just like, wow, really? How much money to replace that? And no, not a doable jobber, sadly. Anyway, it says, "All the very best, mate, Stan." Thank you so much, Stan, mate. And I do love what it says on the front. It says here, on the front of the letter, it says, "Sir Jim of Timbers, Esquire." Superb. So I've taken it comes in its own lovely little display case, which I shall take my sticky fingerprints off later with a tissue that I've got conveniently on the parapet there, on the parapets, the polish on the windowsill there. But this is a cracking little model, because look at it. It says 50 mini years, and that was what, in 2009. 1959, sorry, what am I on about? 1959, when Sir Alec Issigonis invented the darn thing and designed it, and it was first produced. And Mini, wonderful little cars. I love them. If I could get my hands on one now, I would. However, having said that, these MGs, and this book is awesome. Stan, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And very interesting. You'll know why, Stan. Private joke, but you'll know why, mate. So the MGA, MGB and MGC were one of my most favourite sports cars in the world, as Jeremy Clarkson would say. And this is a wonderful book from 1977 originally, and this is an 80 reprint, so it's a good old book, good old book. Love it. And I didn't live so far away from Chiswick, you know. Wandsworth Common is in the southwest London, isn't it, mate? And Chiswick was a local place. That's where the Fuller's Brewery is from. Very good pint. Can't remember the name of it now. It's the red one. Old Pedigree or something it's called. Pint of Pedigree. I think it's called Pedigree. Anyway, my brain's going slowly down melt. But look, that's the Abingdon factory. I believe not that far away from Oxford. where they built the MGs, and well, a mate of mine had one, Stan. It was called, he used to call it Blue, because it was blue, funnily enough. It was a later model. It didn't have the chrome bumpers. It had the plastic bumpers that were pretty sort of hideous, if you remember, compared to the original chrome bumper models of the MGB GT he had. But MG made a whole load of cars, and here they are. What wonderful photographs. Oh my lord. Well, I'm in love with you, innit? We'd have to go out for a drink. Likely she'd like me. Not. But there you go. That's the sort of chassis. You see, in the old days, cars had chassis and shells. They weren't. I think it's called monocoque when they've got it all. Is it called monocoque? Don't quote me. But I think it's called monocoque when they're all together. But in the old days, they had a chassis, right, a car, and then they lowered the shell onto it and bolted the shell onto it. Of course, because of accidents and things like that, they decided in the end that it was better to have the thing all in one lump of metal, as it were, to have shock absorbing bits. But look at these lovely cars. Outrageous. What a wonderful gift, Sambro. MG TDS. Never even heard of it. Awesome. And the MG TF. So these were very early 50s cars. Very early 1950s sports cars. And oh my goodness. My dad, my father, Stan, actually wanted one of these when he was a lad. You know, he never actually got enough money at that stage to have one, but he always dreamt of one. And it's a shame because I was sort of in the process of buying him one day, and then he bought this big new Mercedes that he'd got, and I thought, oh well, you won't want this old sports car thing then. That's a fact. But oh well. So there you go. What are these ones? These look interesting. TDTF. Proposed by Nuffield chief designer Gerald Palmer. That's interesting, isn't it? That's awesome in actual fact. It's beyond interest. They're such beautiful cars. Look at the shape, look at the form of them. Amazing, amazing vehicles. So these are still cars that I don't... I vaguely remember that kind of model on the road, vaguely. I was born in 1965, so these are a little bit predating my time, as it were, being from the 50s. But you can see look at that. The old spare tyres kept hidden well away, and there were 2 seat, you know, 2 plus. Well, there were 2 seat sports cars, weren't they? They weren't designed to carry loads of stuff. They were designed to have fun in on the weekend. You know, wonderful, 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 wonderful. That's all the different rig. And the engines, they're very good. I mean, I think my friend's one was 1800, 1.8, something like that. It had a very distinctive engine tone. And they had these SU carbs. This one looks like it's got dual SUs, which were very easy to service in actual fact. Really, really easy to service. No fiddling about with, you know, loads of hours on those basic carburetors. But they did the job. They did the job. Oh, lovely. Stan, what can I say, mate? Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful gift. I'm afraid I've sent you some stuff back, but it's nothing on this. That's a fact. It's nothing on this, mate, unfortunately. I'll have to think about what else I can send you. So this is a 1600 1588 lump twin cam. Wow. That would shift. You have to remember for its day. That would shift fine. Don't you worry. Wonderful. And so, yeah, all these old... Oh, look at the interior. Look at the interior. I bet you that would have been probable wood. Or if not, it might well have been like a sort of stainless sort of thing, you know. They had all sorts of beautiful interiors, these cars, when they were... Oh, that was new. Disc brakes. That was very, very new in those days. Because the old drum brakes were standard. Obviously, because it's a sports car, it's whipping around a bit quicker than normal, so it's going to have to stop a bit quicker than normal. But amazing 1600 engine, and here they are in competition. So look at that! Look at that! That's amazing. That's one of those wacky tuned carbs, isn't it? They used to stick K&N air filters on there. Well, the sort of equivalent, I suppose, of the K&N. If that's, I don't really know when K&N air filters came in. There they are, Le Mans race. Unbelievable, 1955, Le Mans. Awesome. What's that? There was a V8. When years ago, when I was at school, I got a job, because I was always working I got a job in this off licence. Talking of which, I'm going to have another dose of grape juice, mate. Oh, it goes down well, that old grape juice. Alla fresco, innit? Except I'm inside, but never mind. Yeah, this off licence, I used to work there tidying up, you know. And one of the clients that used to come in to the off licence had a V8 MG. I think it was a BGT, but it was V8. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was V8. I'm pretty sure it was a V8, not a V6, in actual fact. Oh my God, did it ever sound good. And it was like a sort of, it was a ghastly colour actually. It was like a sort of, like a grassy green, light grassy green colour, which didn't look so good. Had it been British Racing Green, it probably would have been my dream car. But he went off in it, and every time he went off, it used to kind of back skirt, you know, because it had so much power running through its rear wheels. It used to kind of do a little fishtail as it accelerated away. I'm sure he was doing the acceleration just for my benefit, because I did give it away a bit, because I sort of stood outside the front door of the off license watching him get into the car. You know, little bit of a giveaway that I liked it. But now I'm very familiar with these. The MGB Tourer, wonderful. And these are the earlier chrome bumper models. Just beautiful. I doubt this book will go to the plastic bumper models that they made. Leyland, by then MG had been taken over by British Leyland, and they were still trying to make the iconic cars, but sadly by then people had sort of pretty much lost interest with it all, because they were just you know, on the wane. BL was on the wane, unfortunately. That's a nice looking motor. What's that then, eh? An Austin Healey. So that's a later Austin Healey. I remember the Healey 3000 was an amazing car. These look like concept cars, because look at that. Look at that. Project cars, you know, that they were hoping to build. And I remember that one as well, actually. Not that for heck I can remember what it's called. Here's a funny story. A friend of mine had an MG Midget. And the Midget was like a very small version. Surprise, surprise. And anyway, I said to this bloke, Nigel his name was, I said to him, because we were going to visit his girlfriend in Derbyshire, and he said, and I said, well, I'm going to Yorkshire to visit my, who was then my fiancée, my first wife. And he said, oh, I'll give you a lift up to Derbyshire, you can catch the train from there. And I said, oh, that's very kind of you. Anyway, he turns up in this bloody Midget, doesn't he? And it was pissing with rain, and I couldn't get in the sod. I literally could not get into the bloody thing. And he had to open the roof. He was absolutely just pissed off, distraught. That looks wonderful, doesn't it? Look at that. RMO was the number plate. Was it? Oh, so it's a number plate. It was, what was it? It was like a massive race car. How wonderful. MGC GT race car. Awesome. Massive thumbs up. Look at that lump. Yeah. So anyway, he had to take off it had a soft top, luckily for me, and he could fold it back, and he took it back, and in got the giraffe, you know. and then I had to kind of recline the seat, and it only had a certain limitation, so I had my head to one side, and I thought anyone that has designed this car hasn't got their head on straight. But because my head was so pressed up against the roof, you know, it was ridiculous. But anyway, what can I say, mate? This video is rolling on, and nobody likes a drone. Unless well, no, I won't go there. But yeah, no, I won't go there. Oh my lordy Humber. There it is, the MGB GT V8. That's the one. That's the one the bloke had, and it's even got the plastic bumpers on it. So they do go to the plastic bumper versions. Oh ho, and they were quick. I can tell you that was a rocket. That was a real little rocket. That's a fact. And there's the lump. Awesome. So it's V8, 4 on each side, see? And look at that. Look at that. That is awesome. Wonderful. And thank you so much, as I say, Stan, for the lovely gifts. I'm sorry that what I've sent you, you'll be thinking, what is that? You know, feel free to just chuck it in the bin, mate. I'm so sorry. I feel really guilty now. That's just fact. That's Jimmy. He's crashed out. It's the sound of my voice. Look at that. That's lovely. I love these old centre consoles. They were early days centre consoles where you got clocks and a couple of oil pressure gauge or something like that, and temperature, you know, for the engine temp and stuff like that. But it all made you feel like you were in a sports car. Wonderful. Cheers. Thanks ever so much, Stan. All the very best to you, mate. And if anyone else has made it this far along the video, then I'll thank you very much too. Cheers.